So I picked the chapter "We Can't Live in Harmony" from the online book, and so I think this kind of connects to the course concept of transnationalism as a whole. And I think this chapter kind of describes the impact of Alabama's law, which was designed to restrict undocumented immigrants' rights and access to public services. And so I think the law's consequences were far reaching and resulted in the forced migration of undocumented migrants to other states or their countries of origin. And it also kind of described the impact of the law on the social mobility of undocumented immigrants, many of whom were living in poverty and struggling to make ends meet. Like they were just really having a hard time kind of putting everything back together for themselves after immigrating to the United States. And I think by limiting access to public services and creating a climate of fear for these immigrants, the law reinforced existing power structures and made it more difficult for undocumented immigrants to integrate into the American society. And I think these themes of migration, social mobility, and power are all kind of connected to the overall concept of transnationalism, which kind of refers to the ways in which people and cultures move across national borders and interact with one another. And so I think this chapter just highlights how HB 56 disrupted the transnational flow of people and ideas by creating a barrier to the movement in undocumented immigrants and just reinforcing national boundaries. I mean, for example, there's the one passage that kind of describes the impact of the law on the daily lives of undocumented immigrants. And so it's pretty much saying they can't drive to work, can't access public services like libraries or parks, and can't enroll their children in school. They're afraid to leave their homes, and some are even afraid to go to church. They feel like prisoners in their own countries. And so I think this page just kind of illustrates how the law created a social and physical barrier that prevented those undocumented immigrants from participating in American society. And then it also highlights the ways in which the law discriminated the flow of people and ideas across national borders. And I think this problem was really highlighted in the passage. And I think it kind of shows people's neglection of those people in the time and kind of their closed-mindedness to the ideas that they were bringing. And I think it kind of showed people's discrimination, even if small or large, because for a lot of these people, they probably didn't assume they were doing anything wrong, and they didn't really assume that this would make like a huge significance. But because of this, it allowed them to not be able to kind of connect to American society as they should have. And I think the lawmakers knew what they were doing in that sense, that if they prevent immigrants from going on public transport, it would get them back where they came from when we're trying to kind of move past that idea in transnationalism.